Here it is, the number one pick for the Best in Horror Countdown 2023 through 2024. What makes a number one movie for me, you might be asking? Well, it has to show me something new, it has to tap into my own love for the horror genre, and it has to be so filled with creativity, passion, and originality that it not only solidifies my faith that there are always new and exciting ways to scare, disturb, and unsettle, but it also has to be a film that sticks with me long after the credits roll. And that's what this year's number one film, The Substance, did. There have been quite a few films about our dream to be noticed, recognized, and adored. Smile 2 touches upon that, and I'll be reviewing that one soon, as did the entirety of Ty West and Mia Goth's X series, as well as the low-budget horror comedy Cheryl. Both Cheryl and Maxine have already shown up in this countdown. Even Elizabeth Banks tried to tell a similar story, like The Substance, about fading stardom and how far you'll go to keep it, and she failed big time with the unintentionally vapid Skincare. But as hard as Skincare crashed and burned, The Substance succeeded. And I'll get to why this is the best horror film of the year after this. I've seen a whole lot of horror movies this year, and a lot of them were amazing. But there are all of those movies, and then there is The Substance. It's storytelling and filmmaking taking to a whole other level, full of kaleidoscope visuals and more turns than the most gut-wrenching of roller coasters. Coralie Fargeat burst onto the scene in 2018 with the bloody and vibrant Revenge, a simple tale about revenge. Now she returns with her second full feature film, The Substance, and I'm still trying to catch my breath after seeing it. It's a doozy. At number one for the best horror film released between October 1st, 2023 and September 30th, 2024 is The Substance. It was released September 20th, 2024, is in theaters now, and it should be available on demand from Mubi and Working Title Films very soon, if not already. It's directed and written by Coralie Fargeat. Aerobics guru and fading Hollywood star Elizabeth Sparkle, played by Demi Moore, turns 50 and loses her job as lead instructor on her once hot TV exercise show, Sparkle with Elizabeth. Panicked that she's losing her good looks and what makes her a star, Elizabeth happens upon an invitation to try The Substance, a process that rejuvenates the body. But there are strict instructions to follow. When Elizabeth uses The Substance, she becomes Sue, played by Margaret Qualley, a younger, more beautiful, and more vibrant version of herself. But when Sue rises to stardom, she begins playing fast and loose with the rules, with absolutely terrifying and gory results. The Substance is one of those movies that feels more than just a movie. It's a pure expression of creativity, from the performances to the storytelling to the way it's all filmed. From the very beginning, this film feels like a completely well thought out and realized piece of art from start to finish. This leaves me with really nothing bad to say about The Substance. Sure, I'll get into specifics in a second, but if you want to know how I feel about this one, The Substance is simply cinematic perfection in my book. Not only does it overflow with creativity, but it also shouts a message to Hollywood that sadly, many will be too far up their own asses to hear. Universal Pictures originally was producing this film, but backed out once they realized Fargeat's vision. And all that does is sing loudly how spineless the modern movie industry really is for not taking this film and supporting it proudly. The Substance is a scathing comment on modern society's obsession with beauty. Through the eyes of a fading star, played perfectly by Moore, we see someone who is genuinely beautiful turn herself into a monster simply because she sees a few lines in her face. One look at any of the stars over 30 today, and you can tell they've had some kind of work done. It's some kind of polite blindness people get when they talk about a Helen Hunt or a Julia Louis-Dreyfus or a Courtney Cox or to be fair, a Steve Martin or a Mickey Rourke, that almost endorses this type of bodily destruction in Hollywood today. While plastic surgery can sometimes transform lives if used properly and appropriately, Hollywood is definitely guilty of exploiting it to the nth degree. All it does is make me sad to see these stars aging and disfiguring themselves to unrecognizable levels. But Moore and Fargeat envision a scenario where one can understand why Elizabeth might do this to herself. She sees herself not getting the opportunities she once had. No one is calling her anymore. And the time she spends in front of the mirror picking herself apart is growing longer and longer. That obsession is realized so well in this story of a fading star trying to recapture the light it lost. In Revenge, Fargeat offered up long sequences without dialogue, instead focusing on character and story through action and imagery. She cranks those silent moments up to the max with The Substance. The opening sequence explains quite simply how the substance works, and then communicates Elizabeth's rise and fall from stardom by charting the life of her star on the Walk of Fame, from the concrete drying to the concrete cracking and fading through age. The sequence tells it all about how stars rise, fall, and wither away. There are an abundance of subtle and not-so-subtle sequences like this communicating the same point, but these two at the beginning are the strongest of the bunch. On top of the quiet sequences, Fargeat zooms in to highlight the grotesque in the most common and banal of things: a fly swimming in a wine glass, Dennis Quaid stuffing shrimp into his mouth, a small scar on the side of one's belly. All of these tiny imperfections that make us human are zoomed in on and examined as if they were a true oddity. By getting in this close, much like Moore's character Elizabeth, it forces the viewer to be as obsessive and nitpicky as the most vain of people. We literally are placed in the shoes of Elizabeth at times, and while her feelings are very human, these are feelings that are not comfortable to sit with. The thing most people are going to be talking about with The Substance is going to be the extreme body horror. It's ballistic and intense, not because it isn't something we've seen before, but because it's being done to these two characters that we have gotten to know so intimately. Both Qualley and Moore bravely do much of The Substance completely nude, something Qualley seems eager to do these days after this and her appearance in Kinds of Kindness, but it's Moore who is still absolutely breathtaking at 61 and bears it all, and I mean it all, for all to see. Brave and stunning are adjectives too often thrown around these days, but Moore offers up a performance that deserves an Oscar. The metamorphosis not only of her body, but her character is beyond what most actresses would ever do at any age. But despite its thematic weight, beautiful camera work, and performances that are Qualley and Moore's career best, this isn't the movie that will receive any kind of acknowledgement like that. Due to the absolutely grueling body horror, this is not a movie many will be able to stand, let alone praise. But most people are not horror fans. And for us horror fans, to know that there is a talented filmmaker like Fargeat out there still taking storytelling to dangerous and extreme levels makes me think this genre, with all of its sequels, reboots, and ripoffs, might just have some spark left in it. I'm still in shock and awe at what I saw happen in the last act of The Substance. It's one of those films that you cannot predict, and just when you think, surely it's not going to go there, that's exactly what The Substance does. In Revenge, we got a peek at Fargeat's unique and creative cinematic eye. The Substance shows us Fargeat off the rope, just spewing creative beauty and ugliness in all directions like a blender with the lid off. The Substance is a satire, often laugh-out-loud funny, dealing with the most intimate of feelings we get and are too afraid to admit when we look at ourselves in the mirror. That layer of fat, that scar, that hair growing where it shouldn't, or that bald spot where hair should be. It grabs that human insecurity in all of us and grounds this fantastic, balls-out crazy movie with it. Some might not be ready for that, but The Substance is a film that kicks down the door and tells it to you anyway. No excuses, see this movie. And there you have it, the best horror movies of the year from 2023 to 2024, according to little old me. But don't shovel off for another year. It seems you guys like countdowns and lists, so I think I'll try to do a few more at least on a monthly basis, possibly during the last week of every month. I'm still working out the details, but you won't know unless you keep checking back with this channel to find out. Feel free to let me know how right or wrong I am about my picks in the countdown in the comments, and don't forget to hit all the pertinent bells and whistles down below so you never miss a post. I hope you guys had as good a time following along as I did making these videos. Your comments and support is always greatly appreciated, and it always makes my favorite holiday month a little brighter. I hope I steered you towards something new and scary to watch this Halloween season and beyond. Because ML Miller Frights, it's Halloween all year around. I'll see you next time, and happy Halloween, folks. Please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're